Well, welcome back, everyone. We've heard me say it many times. I think we are so fortunate to have a national museum in our community and then have it be the National Museum of Dance. And joining me today is Jessica Munson, a friend of ours who's been here before, who is the Programming and Outreach Coordinator. So welcome back, Jess.
Thanks for having me back.
Oh, it's always delightful to have you here. A lot of goings on this summer. You and I were at the 50th anniversary documentary.
That's right.
Last week. And the museum itself is paying tribute to 50 years of SPAC with an exhibit that you just have to hear about. So that's why Jess is here today.
Yes, super exciting. We're very excited.
I bet. So when did this start?
So this came to be when SPAC started planning their 50th anniversary celebration, and certainly with the connection between the museum and SPAC and all the amazing classical performances and dance, that's been at SPAC, that's been brought to Saratoga through the Performing Arts Center, we knew that we had to honor that celebration and decided to have an exhibition highlighting it.
We're going to go back in history just for a second. It was the mid-'80s, and Herb Chesbrough, who was the executive director of SPAC, really had this initial vision for this National Museum of Dance. And I remember he talked to me about it at the time, and it was just so exciting. Well, all the pieces were put together. Mary Lou Whitney got on board. A lot of very prominent people in our community got on board, and lo and behold, the National Museum of Dance was born. Yes. And then they added the rehearsal space in the back.
Studios. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And the Swires were very involved in that. And I remember clearly in the summer, Jess, all the coordination between the museum and the theater in providing classroom space for the young students or the students from Skidmore, or the dancers would come over and give classes and stuff like that.
Still like that today.
That's where it started, and that's still to this day, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so fast forward. Tell us a bit about the exhibit, because you've been staying up 24/7 to get this thing.
Sure, yeah, we've all been working hard on it. So it's a really exciting space devoted not only to the process of how SPAC came to be and honoring those founders, Balanchine, Ormandy, Kirstine, and our local founders here, but a whole timeline of SPAC's history, the renovations that they've done, different historical moments in SPAC's timeline will all be highlighted. And then we'll have a space that really looks at the performances that have been at SPAC. So obviously the classical performances, the orchestra, City Ballet, the Jazz Fest, the opera, and then highlighting some different dance companies that have been some community favorites, like Alvin Ailey Dance Theater, Mark Morris Dance Group, and the National Ballet of Canada.
You know what, Jess? She was walking me through the space. I'm actually going over tomorrow to take a look at it. But if you go into the Dance Museum, there's a beautiful rotunda area right there. And if you can go to the left or the right, but if you go to the right, this exhibit just grabs you right away. And you go down the corridor. Walk us through it.
Yep, so you'll take a right from the museum and you'll go through our new Dancing Athlete exhibition, which is also a really exciting one that just opened about a month ago. Once you hit the end of that, you'll almost feel like you're walking up to the Performing Arts Center. So the exhibit kind of starts with a huge panoramic image of SPAC. It's so lifelike, and you just look like you're walking up to a concert or a performance. That'll be sort of the timeline of SPAC's history. We'll also take a look more in depth at the founders there and also the Dance Museum's tie to SPAC. And then you'll take a right from that hallway, and that is where you'll see lots of costumes and some three-dimensional artifacts, some different photographs, like we talked about Paul Kolnick's photographs, again, in our foyer, also in this space, and then some audiovisual clips and things from different performances that we're highlighting.
She mentioned Paul Kolnick. We've interviewed Paul here. He's a friend of mine for about 35 years. He really is the official photographer for the New York City Ballet. He's at every performance I've ever been to. There's Paul taking photographs, and his photographs are world-renowned, and he has exhibits in Paris and all over Europe and whatever. So a lot of his photography, rightfully so, is in this exhibit. But, Laura Dorado designed this with the help of everyone over at the museum, and I love the idea of these large profiles that are cut out.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Laura took some different iconic images of the performances and actually silhouetted out some of the dancers. So it's going to be a really, unique space where the scene will be set almost, where it'll look like you're looking at the silhouettes of these performers, intermixed with some costumes that are hanging from the ceiling. They're suspended from the ceiling, almost as if they're part of the scene itself. And we'll have some really interesting lighting and different things, a really sort of dramatic space where you almost feel like you're really being pulled into that performance. You know, everything is stagnant, but it feels like it's moving. It feels like you're watching the performance right in front of you. So it's going to be really cool.
Well, you know, if it's anything like the other exhibits at the Dance Museum, lighting plays a big role, and of course lighting can be very dramatic and bring a lot of that to life. The exhibit includes photography, text. I think it's always important in an exhibit like this to read the story of what's behind certain things. You learn so many fascinating facts, but there are a lot of costumes there. There's some video, as a matter of fact, quite a bit of video. And just that one wall, it's a bit of a deviation from the Dance Museum, but the wall about all the special events at SPAC.
Yeah, so there's one full wall of all of the specials and the pop concerts that have been at SPAC, just listed year after year. And I was going through reading them, and it was so fun to look at, okay, I was born this year, who played at SPAC? And then to remember the concerts that I've seen there too. So just this whole wall that you can see the great history of these popular concerts that have been there too.
Well, I can't wait. Now, the opening is tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, yep.
What time?
6:30.
Okay, 6:30 tomorrow night, and it's free and it's open to the public.
Absolutely.
So everybody in the community can get a chance on the first night that this thing's open to go over it firsthand and take a look at this absolutely stunning exhibit. And how long is it going to be up, Jess?
It'll be up for a full year.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you can't make it tomorrow night, make sure it's part of your plans this summer season.
Yes, I can't highlight it. As a matter of fact, an exhibit like this requires numerous visits. I know that
Absolutely.
too, right?
Absolutely.
You can't possibly take it in all at once. Well, hats off to you and Raul and to Laura and everybody at the Dance Museum for honoring SPAC's 50th anniversary in such a fascinating, creative way.
We're excited to be a part of the celebration for them. So.
I bet you are, Jess. All right, I'll see you tomorrow night.
Yes, sounds great. Thanks.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.